Hey everybody, this is Charlie with Competitive Edge. I got my Kodiak canvas tent hat since I'm putting a Kodiak item up. Love the Kodiak stuff. Excited to show you today the 6170, the Kodiak Lodge tent. We've been waiting a while to get this, finally got it. We're super excited. I've never seen this in person. I've never set this up before, so I'm excited. I'm going to show you the features and walk you through the setup and walk you through just a full demo from unboxing to setting it up, including the stove inside. So if you find this video helpful, please do me a favor and hit the like button. Feel free to comment if you have any questions or feedback. I'd love to hear it, and of course feel free to subscribe. I sped most of the video up so we can kind of breeze through this, but if you order a stove mat, at least mine came with the tent. It is sold separately, it's not included. So if you need a stove mat, there is a Kodiak brand one, and it's fantastic. This is the pole bag, weighs about 50 pounds. Here's the instruction manual, it's done very well. Here's the tent body, also weighs about 50 pounds or so. And this is the bag that it comes in. It's a generously sized duffel style bag. This is a little mesh bag, and this mesh bag is important. This is for a CO2/smoke detector to hang inside the tent if you decide to use a stove. These are stakes. There's 2 sets of stakes that come with these. It's wrapped in cellophane. And that's all that's inside the box. So I'm going to put this towards the back of my yard. That seems like a good place to keep it, since I'm going to try and keep it up for several months. So if you want to follow me on this, I'm going to try and keep it up until the spring and report back weekly to let you guys know how well it did or didn't work. I expect it'll do really well. Every Kodiak item I've ever demoed has just blown me away. They're very impressive. They do a really good job. So the first thing we're going to do is lay the tent out. I can tell immediately as soon as I open this. See those strips I'm touching right there? Those are like Velcro. It's not the Velcro brand, but it's like Velcro. Anyways, that's where the awning goes. I don't have an awning, but that's where the front door and everything is. So I'm going to turn it around and then spread out the 4 corners. And you got to leave yourself a little bit of room in the back for the guy ropes. So I didn't put it right next to my property line. You're going to start by pounding in the 4 corners. You're going to pound in one corner, pull the opposite kitty corner away from you, and then do the other 2 corners. And this is kind of in fast motion. It got me laughing. Alright, enough pounding stakes, you get the idea with that. But there is this D-ring here, so make sure that this little ring is sticking outside of the stake. Like, don't stake it so that it's folded under. Here's the poles. There's another set of stakes. The stakes are all the same, by the way. And then there's this rope right here. And this rope, by the way, I messed up, and I'll explain it to you, but this colored rope is thicker and stronger than the regular guy ropes. And it goes to the ridge poles. So the first thing I do is I set all my poles out, and whenever I assemble something and I put all the poles that look like each other in the same pile, I can tell immediately, since there's only one ridge pole, this is the long pole that you thread through the sleeve. It's the only thing that you have to thread through. The assembly is just super easy on this. And then there's 2 poles like this that have the kind of the hook on the end. And then it's telescoping, just uses a push pin like you see here. So I intentionally decided I'm going to set this up by myself. It's officially a 2-man job, but I want you to see how I set it up. It's of course faster and easier with 2 people, but it's still easy. So this is a close-up of the loop that you put in between those nubs so that it doesn't slide and so the tent stays nice and taut. So I'm going to do the same thing with this hooked end. I'm going to pull that strap and put it in between those 2 nubs. Then I'm going to take the guy rope, because I know that if I'm going to assemble this myself, as soon as I start putting these poles up, I've got to have something that I attach it to. So I put one in the front, I put one in the back. If you look behind me, you can see there's a T-post, which I thought, you know what, I'm just going to tie the rope to that T-post. I could have easily have staked it down, but it was just so easy. The T-post is right there. I should have put a stake in the ground just because that's probably what you'll be doing. So you can see that other side isn't totally up. The way you do it, the way you assemble this with one person is you just gradually telescope your pole up on one side and then up on the other. So I am going to stake this down. And then I'm going to go to the back side and lift it up higher. Then I'll come back around to the front side and lift it up higher. And that's really the only part where you need two people, or where two people is helpful. So that D-ring that I showed you that you have to be careful not to stake into the ground, those are receiving pins. They go inside the upright poles. So there's the front. Here's a shot of the back. Now I'll just lift the back one up. You can see how easy it is. All I'm doing is just, I'm taking that receiving pin that I showed you and I'm putting it up inside the pole, and then I'm staking it down for stability. So right here is what I mean when I say that D-ring. That's the receiving pin again. And those, I think all the poles had those, if my memory serves. All of them had those. Just make sure they go up inside the pole, so it makes it so that they don't slide away. Next, we're going to get ready to use all these guy ropes. All of the poles require one. But first, let me show you how to do a slip knot. You probably know how to. If you don't, here's kind of a slow-mo, amateurish tutorial that shows you how to do a slip knot. Slip knots are so cool. It's my favorite knot to do on these, and it happens to be the only knot besides tying my shoes that I really know how to do anyways. But it's very simple, comes in handy. The nice thing about it, a slip knot, is that when you pull on the rope, it actually grabs tighter on the looped end. So I'll show you what I mean. Basically, you just pull that tight right there. And then if you pull on this rope, which you can see. So I grabbed this spike, and I realize that's not the right pole for this one. It's too long, so I'm going to grab the correct pole. This one obviously goes right there, but I think the instructions said to do the 4 corners first, so I'll put this pole in after. I'll find the smaller ones for the 4 corners. Here we go. It took me a minute, but that's why I'm showing you this, so you can learn from my mistakes. But I'm going to do the 4 corners. I'm going to pull it straight from the center of the tent so the tent gets nice and taut. And then they have these Velcro-like attachments that just go onto the pole and keeps the tent nice and taut. And by the way, here's a close-up of the other corner. All 4 corners have those double reinforced grommet loops up there. And then you put it in the receiving D-ring and put that on. And the guy ropes, they hold on really well. They have those black little loops, and they just slide up and down. You don't have to tie another knot right there. This one I discovered I was putting this one on wrong. There's 2 loops here, so I think I'm going to go up through the bottom, but then I realized I'm just going to go up through the top. That was a little bit easier. But you just slide it down through there into the receiving ring, up through the grommet in the top, and that one's good as soon as we get the guy rope attached to it. Super simple setup. And then you just go around the tent and do the same thing on all of them. There's a little bit of an exception on the left side, and I'll show you here in just a second. On the other side, there's a storm window, which is really cool. And I love the way that they designed this. They designed it so that you put the poles in just like normal, but the guy ropes attach not just onto the top of the spike of the pole, but they go through the strap of that strap. They go right through that hole so that it keeps your storm window open. I mean, you open it from the inside, but it still keeps it open in case you need some ventilation. So let me show you. You stake this down. You can see it's kind of pulling on the window. You stake it down, and then you just adjust the black strap to make it tight. Then I'm going to do this just the same thing with the other side. It's pretty simple. All right, so here's the tent, what we've got so far. You can see I'm still missing a couple guy ropes that I need to put on. There's the stove jack. All these wrinkles go out, by the way. Oh, now this pole is really cool. This is one of the things that make it an extreme weather type of tent. So let me show you. And it's optional. You don't have to use it. It comes with your tent whether you want to use it or not. But there's two canvas straps at the top that are sewn in, and you just put the pole in there, and it telescopes. So you just telescope it by releasing it through the thumb screw. And you don't make it too tight. It just needs to hold up the roof. It doesn't need to increase any tension on the roof. And then you can see the foot at the bottom is spread out, that has some surface area, so it's not going to like puncture your floor or anything like that. This is an interior look of the stove jack. It's got that silicone liner for high heat. Now this is the rope that I should have used. There's two of them, and I should have used those for the ridge pole that goes on the very top. I didn't realize that until I was completely done. So I went back and I had to take off just the regular guy rope and put this one on. But it's pretty easy to do. So we're basically done here. This is just me putting in the last couple of guy ropes. And you know, if I could have done it over again, I think I would have spread them out further, like the stakes further away from the tent, because the guy ropes are a generous size. And I had a bonus stake. I don't know if it's supposed to come with an extra stake. Mine did, so I am going to put that somewhere where I can keep it safe for when I lose one of my other ones. It's set up in here. It's really nice. It's really big. It's really tall. I can't even touch the ceiling unless I stand on one foot. It's got a stove jack right here. See this? And I'll do that in a demo. This is just the assembly instructions. Cool tent. So that's how you set it up. If you want to see what stove I use, if you want to see sub-zero temperatures and a snowstorm and how well it fared out, click on the links below and you can follow my blog throughout the winter. Thanks for watching.